Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Beer Garden and yet another day at Sha Tin, 3 in a row for us. This is a really exciting card. We are going to go over race 5 and, of course, the Group 2 races on this card. And, of course, we're not going to leave out our best bet and value bet. So we will get right into it with race 5, which is the Peel Handicap Class 4, 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs. Steve, you want to start us off?
Yeah, race 5, yes. I'm going for number 4, Spontaneous. Not the first time I'm going for Spontaneous. I keep hoping he can win. He's got the good draw this time. He's drawn on the paint, as they say, next to the rail in one. Jerry Chow on board takes off his £3, and he really is off a good mark now. He won 3 races last season off 45, 53, and 60. And he's now down to 54. And I mean, it's an interesting race, few interesting horses, but really, I would like to think that Spontaneous has a very good chance this time of his declining mark.
Well, I don't think you're going to be too far off with that horse as well, but we'll get to that later. I do think Spontaneous, the barrier draws, going to set him up nicely, as he's unfortunately been getting quite wide barrier draws back to back to back. So now we see him jump in barrier 1. I think it's going to help him out. And Charene, who are you liking in this race?
Yeah, in race 5, I think it is quite funny because in the field of 14, 10 of them are 3-year-olds. So I will be looking for one of the debutants, number 7, WIN. Before we see, prior to his debut, he had 3 barrier trial in Hong Kong. He is progressing quite well, and the most recent trial, he showed that has some great good speed, and also he could keep till the end, looking he is now ready for winning. Although this time he will be jumping from gate 14, it would be a bit difficult, but for him, I think he has the enough gate speed to overcome it. And also, trainer Frankie Law is having quite a good season, including quite a number of debutants having quite good result on their first runs. And also, Joe Moreira is on fire also recently. So I will go for the 7, WIN for the in race 5.
Yes, the 7, WIN, making his debut here, but he comes from really great breeding for a sprint distance. So we could see quite a bit out of him. And Joe, are you taking a debutant as well?
Yeah, I'm taking number 9, 6 Best Friends with Matthew Chadwick. He's drawn well at number 3. Looking at the pedigree, he's had a lot of the father's side, which is Super One, has had a lot of sprint success, and coming from Newgate, who also had, I believe, Skyfield was one of the horses that they had. Looking to try to win on debut. It's out of an I Am Invincible horse. So yeah, I mean, his last trial is, if you see who he's trialed against in it's Sha Tin, he's Golden 60, Flying Ace, some of these horses that we've known that have had success, beat Hot King Prawn in his last trial on the all-weather, lost by about 4.5 legs, but he's still learning. So I think he could show up a little bit on debut, especially as a 3-year-old. So we'll see. Number 9, 6 Best Friends for me.
Yes, Joe's picking another debutante here, and yeah, his barrier trials against some really tough companies just going to set that horse up. Really challenge him in such a young career. So we'll see how he comes in to take the track. And I am here with Steve on the 4, Spontaneous. I really think that the barrier draw is going to set him up perfectly. Like I said, he's unfortunately had the worst luck of drawing wide barriers and just cannot seem to get over them. But hopefully coming in on a little bit of the lighter side with Jerry Chow aboard, we're going to see a nice race out of him. It's I think a fairly wide open field for this race. And like Charene said, we have a lot of debutantes coming in. So we'll see how Spontaneous does. He's going to be my value bet as well. And I think we're going to see something out of him. Something special, I'm hoping. But let's move on to the first Group 2 race of the card, which is in race 7, which is the Sprint Cup Group 2, 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs. And Steve, who are you taking here?
Well, I picked Wellington last time when he won over 1,400 metres, and he's probably the most likely winner. But I thought I'd take a bit of a left field selection, and Computer Patch, he's drawn 2, Matthew Chadwick on board. And the first 5, those 5 ran in the Lam Swen handicap Class 1 over course and distance last time, and of course Sight Success won that, and Computer Patch was fifth. It was his first run for Jimmy Ting, who his first run having left the Tony Cruz stable. He's rated 106, has a bit to find with some of the other main protagonists in the race, but he was rated 115 in his prime, and he might just improve second up for Jimmy Ting. So I'll take Computer Patch as a bit of more of a value bet, I guess, although he's not my value bet. Computer Patch from Gate 2 in the Sprint Cup.
That is a nice horse. He's really quick out of the gate, and I think we might see him lead the field here. But I mean, this is a really, really tough race. I agree with you on Wellington. There's a lot of competition that comes in. It's a sprint, so they all have to make a move very fast. Computer Patch is going to be a great bet here, and I agree. You're going to get some good value. And Charene, which horse are you taking?
Yeah, in the Sprint Cup, because it is a Group 2 race, so the horses, they are carrying different weights. I will go for number 3, Hot King Prawn, because in this Group 2, he will be just carrying 123 pounds, which will be quite favorable for him. Although he is a 7-year-old, he is still doing quite well in this season. Especially, I think that last time out in the Class 1 race over 1,200 meters, he was carrying the top weight. However, he was just beaten by 3 lengths. I think it was acceptable. And this time he will be carrying a lighter weight, and also recently he is still doing quite well. So don't forget, Hot King Prawn, he is a Group 1 winner last season, and I think that this race would be quite a good chance for him in the whole season, because maybe at the end of April, the Chairman's Green Prize, because it is a Group 1, so maybe it will be a bit difficult for Hot King Prawn to win it as a 7-year-old. So maybe this Group 2 will be his aim. So I will go for number 3, Hot King Prawn.
Yes, Hot King Prong is another one. I think we're all taking the horses on the lighter side of this field. And Joe, are you siding with Charene here?
Yeah, I went also Hot King Prawn. Look, like his last trial was with that same with the 6 Best Friends, and he was only about a third of the way out of it. I think he's due for a win. Like this sprint series this year, we've seen a lot of different winners. We haven't seen like dominant performances when Golden 60 was at his peak performance. So you've seen like Stronger win, Skyfield, Lucky Patch. There's been like a whole bunch of others. So I think that Hot King Prawn is finally due to win this one, especially coming up from going back down from a grade 2 to a grade 1. So it's going to be a little bit tough. I mean, the fields always are going to be tough. I was really leaning towards Master 8, because he was in form and he's drawn number 1, and the last winner in the last race was drawn number 1. But yeah, I'm going to go. I've been with him before. I don't want to not be with him again. So I'm going to try Hot King Prawn number 3 with Zach Purden.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. We haven't seen a sprinter win back to back and really wow all of us. They've all seen a winner at some point here in these sprint races. I went with the 6, Lucky Express, with Hamlin aboard, jumping from barrier 4. He's another horse, like I said, all 4 of us have took horses on the lighter side of this field. He's a very strong performer, and they put him in the blinkers last time out, and I think it really helped to keep him focused, as he got 4th by an extremely narrow margin, about half a length there. It was a really mad dash there to the finish. I think we're going to see that again. I think barrier 4 just sets him up perfectly. He's a horse that is a bit progressing, and I think we're going to see him perform quite nicely here. And just to recap, the Race 7 Sprint Cup Group 2, we have Steve on 5, Computer Patch. Charene and Joe are both on the 3, Hot King Prawn, and I am on the 6, Lucky Express. Well, let's go to the final Group 2 race, where we have the Champions Trophy. 1,600 meters or 8 furlongs. This is a really interesting race. Let's see what we do. Steve, who are you taking?
Oh, I went for number 4, More Than This, drawn 2, Karis Teton on board. He was 5th in the City Hong Kong Gold Cup, behind, of course, Russian Emperor Golden 60. And but I just think he has a chance back at this trip. I don't think he's as effective as the 2,000 meters. This is back over 1,600. I think Russian Emperor could well win again, dropping back in trip. And Golden 60, well, He's lost that invincible cloak now, hasn't he? Having been beaten the last twice, but he could well bounce back. He looked quite good in his trials recently. But I'll take more than this. Hopefully, spring out a surprise.
Yes, more than this has just been fighting and fighting and fighting in so many races, getting really close to a win. He's coming off of that 5th place finish in the Hong Kong Gold Cup, which I agree might have been just a bit too long, but we'll see how he does dropping back to the 1600 meters, which he's more keen to. And Charene, who are you taking?
Yes, in the Chairman's Trophy, I will be still keen on number 1 Golden 60. To be honest, last time out in the Hong Kong Gold Cup, it was a bit disappointed, but maybe there are some excuses because of the yielding ground, and also 2000 meters is not his best trip. So this time returning back to 1600 meters, which will be his favorite distance, and this time he is drawn number 1, gates number 1. Hopefully he will get a clear one in the home straight, but I'm quite sure that the rider Vincent Ho knows of this horse very well. And also in December last year in the Hong Kong Mile, he also did quite well from an inside draw. So this time from a gate 1 again, I hope that Vincent Ho can find a clear one for this horse of the year in the final home stretch. So I will be keen on him, and I hope to see him to bounce back. So number 1 Golden 60 for me.
I think all eyes are still going to be on Golden 60 because I still think that we're all hoping this horse is going to bounce back. I mean, he only has 2 losses under his belt recently, but the 2000 meter race, like there was a lot of factors into that. The yielding course is 2000 meters a bit too long. So seeing him come back, I think everybody's still a bit excited. Vincent Ho knows this horse the best. And Joe, who are you taking? Do you have your value bet here?
Yeah, the value bet is going to be, this is a completely, I think, out of left field pick, and I'm sure Sarah is going to agree because she picked the same one, is Cheerful Days. Now, I looked at Cheerful Days. I've been with them before at Happy Valley and Sha Tin. Sort of like the class 1 and the class 2 grade, you're kind of looking at, that's where the benchmark is to get a big step up. But when you look at who he was up against, this is going to be his toughest, by far his toughest ask to win a race because of the field that he's against. But he turned a corner sometime in the beginning of the year, during the season, around October, and then he just started winning. So he is in form right now, and I think that the main concern for me is that he's one that comes from the back, and he's won on like highest weight, lowest weight, class, everything. So he is in form, but if you go back, I mean, I think that if you go to where you look at some of the races where he's closed off, he's had some pretty fine sectionals, not compared to Golden 60. So I think that those two, maybe him, Golden 60. I know that Kai Star's probably going to take up the lead, especially when you have Lyle Hewitson, who's as I said millions of times, he's one of the best front running jockeys. So I think it's going to be once they get to the top of the lane, it's going to be a big charge of the Light Brigade. So if Cheerful Days could get that good trip, I think he could see it out. I think he could get around maybe an each way value on him because he is currently $51. So I think he could hit the board. Everything below or anything that was second and third has been a big price in these big races because of Golden 60's odds. So if you're looking for a little outside value to complete your trifectas or even exactas or even your first fours, I think you could take Cheerful Days in this one. So I think Cheerful Days is in a good spot. Number 12, Cheerful Days with Harry Bentley.
Yes, Cheerful Days. That is my pick as well. Not my value bet, but you will get, like Joe said, really great value. Cheerful Days is just, something just seemed to have clicked, and he's been performing well at Happy Valley and at Sha Tin. He's been progressing nicely. But you're right, Joe. He does have that closing style, and he's going to have that as well, with Golden 60, as we know, has that same strong closing style. Can he get it this time? I'm hoping he's coming in at a lightweight. Let's see how he does. But I was, trying to think outside the box here, and that's who I ended up on as well. So to recap, Steve has the 4 more than this. Charene has 1 Golden 60, and Joe's value bet and my bet for this race is 12 Cheerful Days. So let's get into the best part of our show, the best bets part of our show. And Steve, what is your best bet for the card?
I'll wait till the very end of the card. Race number 10, number 4, Atula Bagil, drawn 4 as well. Zach Purton on board, two-time winner in Ellerslie in New Zealand. Good third at Happy Valley last time behind Coney County. Interesting that Zach would surely have had the choice also of Rock Your Heart, who was a fantastic second last time, just beating basically a short head behind the unbeaten Flying Ace. So that's very good form. You Rock Your Heart, ridden by Matthew Chadwick at this time, and has leading claims, but hopefully it's a good pointer to Atula Bagil's chance that Zach Purton retains the ride on that one. And he's open to lots of improvement. This is only his third run, and his third local run in Hong Kong, of course, and his first run at Sha Tin. And of course, it's a very interesting race, 5 elements too, and the likes of Super Fortune, who likes to get out there in the lead, and he's got the plum draw in 1 under Matthew Poon. But hopefully, Atula Bagil, we can get the best bet up in the very last race.
Yes, he's an interesting horse, had an exceptional 2-year-old career. Once he found his footing over there in New Zealand, had an exceptional races, and comes here and showed a really great form at Happy Valley. So we'll see how he takes to the Sha Tin track. So that is race 10 for Atula Bagil. And Charene, what is your best bet for the card?
Yeah, for my best bet, going back to race 5 that we just discussed before, my best bet will be number 7, the debutant Win, because in race 5, there is no obvious leader in the race, and it may be left to the debutant Win to come across from the right draw to lead, because over his barrier trial in Hong Kong, he showed some good speed. So this time he may get the rail before the turn despite gate 14, so maybe he will be followed by Spontaneous from a good draw. So the pace will be quite slow in race 5, so hopefully Win can take advantage of it. So my best bet, race 5, number 7, Win.
Yes, and like we said, he's bred for these tough sprints, and I do think this slow pace is going to help him really see this horse shine. It's a very wide open race, race 5. So we'll see how he does. And Joe, I think you and I might be a bit similar here as well for our best bets.
Yeah, we have well, I guess I spoiled it. Well, we do have a double best bet. Race number 3 on point. I know that we've had, I believe Steve's tipped this one before, but this time, yeah, we have Zach Purton up. Consistent, hasn't gone below the 4th. 4-year-old. Draw number 9. So this is kind of going to be an interesting thing, but I mean, I don't think he needs to be around the lead, and I don't think 9's going to be that much of a concern for him. But yeah, he has a lot of strong claims. He's probably going to be the favorite. If you look at all of his last runs, he's been like $3.75, $2.25, $3.25. So the competition that he's up against now. He's not facing some of the same horses that he was, or maybe he was, but at least to the winner, Galaxy Witness, in his last start. But he hasn't been too far off the wire anyway. So yeah, number 3 on point for me, Zach Purton. He might show up like all around this card, because me and Charene have already tipped him to win one race. So yeah, number 3 on point for me.
Yes, and I'm with you here as well. My best bet is on point as well. I do think it's interesting. I was kind of looking at his equipment, where last race his equipment changed. They added the cheek pieces on him, which that does for the horses. It really helps them keep focus and helps the horse, keep pushing forward. And, he gets a 3rd place, and really not a terrible 3rd place, but just a bit odd coming off of back-to-back wins. He is continuing with the equipment in this race. So let's see how he does. Like Joe said, probably not going to get the greatest value on him, but such a strong horse. 2 wins at this track and at this distance. He's going to chase the pace here. So fingers crossed, Joe and I will cash in our best bets. But to recap our best bets, Steve has race 10 for Atula Bagil. Charene has in race 5, Win, and Joe and I are race 3 on point. So let's get into our value bets of the card. Steve, who's your value bet today?
I went to race number 3, the race you've just been discussing, actually, the On Point race. I hope On Point doesn't ignore me now, because I've deserted him after all this time. But I'm actually going for number 5, California Sky. A really nice horse. He's drawn 3. Joe Moreira up for the first time. He was a good third to Silvestre, 2 runs back. And he was a bit, I mean, he was drawn in 7 last time, but he was a bit too keen last time as well when 5th to Golden Empire. That wasn't a bad run at all. I just think he's interesting. I think On Point's got a great chance. And of course, Country Boy, who always seems to run well under Alexis Bedell. But hopefully, I think there's more to come from California Sky. I think he's a really nice horse for Tony Cruz. He's got the headgear for the first time, which I think will help him settle. And I think he could well open his account here in race number 3. But I'll be hoping On Point finishes second for you.
Well, I may disagree with that point, but I think On Point could forgive you in not picking him in this race. But California Sky, he's just been performing really nicely over the Sha Tin course, a really strong contender here. So we'll see. So maybe he'll get first, maybe he'll get second. We'll see. Hoping maybe we'll at least do the get both On Point and California Sky in race 3. And Charene, who is your value bet?
My value bet on Sunday will be in race 4. It is a class 3 over 1600 meters. I quite like number 5, Happy Angel. He is a great horse sired by Dark Angel. And when he was racing in the UK, he was trained by Richard Hannon, and he scored 2 winners over 1600 meters and 2000 meters. But at this moment in Hong Kong at the rating of 67, I think that Happy Angel is better to focus on 1600 meters. So this time I will be looking forward to him, because it is also interesting to see that Black Shin takes the ride for the first time. And actually last time out, he was doing quite well. He lead and also just beaten by 4.5 lengths. I think that he is progressing quite well. Maybe he is now competitive at the rating of 67. So he is able to cause an upset in race 4. So my value bet, race 4, number 5, Happy Angel.
Yes, I do think that rating there, I think we're going to see something out of him. It could be a good upset, and fingers crossed that it is. I think you're going to get some really good value on Happy Angel there. And Steve, remind us of your value, or excuse me, sorry, Joe, remind us of your value bet.
Yeah, number 12 in the Chairman's Trophy race number 9. It is Cheerful Days, climbed up in the ratings really fast from all the way from class 4 all the way to class 1, and now he's in a group 2 race. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much covered everything as far as that. The only thing is that Harry Bentley hasn't ridden him since last September. But like, you know, he's won with Alex Bedell, and he's won with Zach Purton, and he's won on high weights, he's won on different distances, so he's very versatile. And you know, the 1600 seems to fit him pretty well. That's most of his wins has come from Happy Valley in the 1650, and then also he's won at Sha Tin and placed in the 1600. So yeah, Cheerful Days number 12 for me.
Yes, I like Cheerful Days. That was my pick in that race as well. And my value bet is the 4 Spontaneous in race 5. I know we talked, both Steve and I are on this horse in that race as well. Hoping the barrier draw here is going to set him up nicely. Like we've all mentioned with the race 5, it's very wide open with several debutantes coming in. Hasn't raced at Sha Tin in quite some time. We've actually, he's had some barrier trials, but a race we haven't seen since September where he tried the all-weather track. So we'll see how he does coming back to the Sha Tin course. But like I said, I just think the interior barrier draw is going to help him out quite a bit here. And coming in, of course, on the lighter side as well. We'll see how Jerry Chow does with him. So to recap our value bets, Steve has his value bet in race 3, 5, California Sky. Charene's value bet is race 4, 5, Happy Angel. Joe's is in race 9, which is Cheerful Days. The 12 and mine is race 5 for Spontaneous. Well, those are our picks for the card of Sha Tin. Like I said, it was our 3rd day in a row doing Sha Tin. We've had quite a day here, or really quite a week here at Sha Tin with the all-weather race day we had. So it was quite nicely. So hopefully everybody has some good luck, and we'll see you next time.